we mentioned David Culley. Like, he was willing to keep David Culley as long as the OC and the DC were going to be, well, in Pep Hamilton's case, different. In Lovie Smith's case, the same. So he moved on from Culley in that regard. We've also seen, I think, with Nick Caserio and the way that he has handled 2 head coaching interviews. 1, that he ended up with David Culley. 2, that he interviewed Josh McCown twice. 3 times, actually, 2 separate years, that he ended up with Lovie Smith after a Sunday supper when he was never a candidate. I think it's very easy to see that Nick Caserio really doesn't prioritize the head coach position. I think he puts more weight in the OC and the DC than he does the head coach, if I'm being completely honest with you. But because of that very reason, because Nick Caserio doesn't put priority on his head coach of his NFL organization, that's why the Texans need a great quarterback. Because to me, there's 2 different ways to become a Super Bowl contender. Either you have a great quarterback, Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, let's go down the list, et cetera, Rodgers, Burrow,
Brady.
whatever. Brady's another, obviously, the best example. But because the Texans don't prioritize a head coach, that's why they need a great quarterback. Because the other side of the argument, if you don't have a great quarterback, well, how do you get to a Super Bowl? You have a great head coach. McVay got to the Super Bowl with Goff. Bill Belichick, now he had Brady for most of his career, but a great head coach. You have to take them seriously.
He got Mac Jones to lead a team to the playoffs in his first year.
Exactly. So a great head coach can elevate an organization.
But Jeremy,
I think Shanahan's an example of that, too, with San Francisco.
But don't you also feel like the reason why this franchise didn't need a good head coach is because Nick Caserio, in his heart of hearts and mind of minds, believes he is the head coach. He is the guy that is doing what the head coach is in charge of doing in the short term. And when you do get to a point where you have the quarterback that you know is going to lead you, that's when you get a really good or great head coach, because now it's more important to have that guy doing the little things and the details that are going to matter. I think in the short term, all the things we saw from how much he was at practice and how much in meetings and how much he's in the booth and talking on the headsets, I believe he feels like short-term he is, in part, the head coach.
I think that the Texans have a different view of the power structure of an NFL organization than most. And Caserio has alluded to other sports. He's talked about, like, in basketball, where GMs kind of lay down the law and, like, have the plan of how an organization is going to be. He's mentioned baseball a lot of times, where the general manager really has most of the say.
The front office hiring the assistant coaches.
Yeah, and I think if you look at baseball, too, really, I mean, you have general managers making out lineup cards. You have general managers saying, this is where we want pitchers to go. This is how many times through the order. Like, you've seen that power change in baseball.
The analytics experts are trumping the old school baseball mind.
And Caserio has alluded to that. He has mentioned that. So I'm not going to rule out the possibility that Caserio sees himself, like, not by title as the head coach, but as the authority figure and the end-all, be-all of this organization. Where I would give Caserio the benefit of the doubt, though, I don't think he would consider himself great, right?
No.
I don't think he would say, I am a great head coach, great GM, great figurehead of an organization, and because of me, we're going to go to the Super Bowl and win it all. But that's why they need a great quarterback.
Yeah, I see that, right? But my point more on the Caserio front is that as long as you want to work with me, but allow me to be me and do what I want to do, running everything the way I want it run, and if that means me interjecting and me being more of a bigger role and talking more than any other general manager in the history of the NFL maybe had done, and you're okay with that, then you can be here. And just like we heard with the David Culley quote, if you suddenly don't feel like that's for you, or like when Lovie came in and said, that's not something I'm going to do, then you realize, hey, part of the reason why he hired Culley is because he wanted a guy that was going to lay down and be a puppet so that he could still implement his system his way, regardless of anything else with who the assistant coaches were and everything they were trying to do.
I think he puts a lot of emphasis on his assistants because he believes in player development, and I think that a play caller is very important in the NFL. Let's be honest. Who's calling the plays matters a whole lot. A lot of times in the NFL, the head coach will be responsible for one side of the ball. McVay, Shanahan, they'll call plays for the offensive side. Does Saleh still call plays for the Jets defensively? We'll ask Aspen about that. But, like, to me, that's what Caserio views as the importance of this staff. Saleh, yeah. What did I say?
Soulless.
I didn't say soulless.
I think you did, but it doesn't matter.
I definitely didn't say soulless. We can check the tape.
Yeah.
I might have said Saleh versus
I don't
Saleh,
think he
but
does.
I didn't say soulless. I'm not sure.
And you know what? I think that, again, he's because he's a younger coach. I think that he shouldn't, because of the fact that I think there's a time that he could.
I don't know what's right. I'll be completely honest with you. I don't know what's right or wrong.
As you're saying this, I'm thinking about McCarthy trying to call offensive plays forever for the Packers.
Sure, but do you not want McVay to call plays? Do you not want Shanahan to call plays?
And
so it goes both ways.
And it's a delicate balance because those are young guys too. So it's weird to say that after a certain point in time when a coach has established himself, Now you let them, especially on the defensive side of the football. I think that's where it makes more sense. I think offensively with the new pass happy, open style plays that the offenses are running, it's going to be interesting. Like in Miami, do you think your boy's going to call plays?
Oh, yeah.
See, and that's going to be
I think it's part of the reason
he
left San Francisco, because he didn't call plays there.
Right, but he was the OC. As the head coach, it's different. But if you want to try it, you can do it. Like I said, McCarthy's been a guy that's done it forever and a day. But, Rodgers also had the ability to trump him by audibling once the play came in.
Guys, let me tell you real quick about Fitz Roofing. Fitz Roofing, dedicated and loyal to Houstonians. They're going to take care of you every step of the way, from a leaky roof to a full roof replacement on your business or your home, or maybe some home repairs, even a fence in your yard. All you got to do is call them. They're going to give you a free, no obligation inspection. It costs you absolutely nothing. Fitz Roofing, making a difference, one home at a time.
I'm okay with a head coach calling plays, period. Like, I'm fine with it. But unless you have somebody on your staff that's better at you than it. Like, if you're so prideful, like McVay's a bad example because I think he's a great offensive mind. Shanahan's a bad example because I think it's a great offensive mind. Maybe Bill O'Brien's the best example. Like, Bill O'Brien called plays here for a very long time. Tim Kelly's not a great example, but let's assume for a second, bear with me here, that Tim Kelly was a better play caller than Bill O'Brien. Like, if Bill O'Brien's still calling plays over somebody that's better than him, that's where you get in trouble. Like, I still think you can call plays and manage a game. I don't think that that's something that's out of the realm of possibility. I think you can do both. And if you're an elite play caller, quite frankly, that's part of your allure. Like, I want Shanahan because I want him to call plays. I want McVay because I want him to call plays. We'll see if McDaniel's that way. We'll see if Salah's that way.
Oh, boy, in
We'll see
Minnesota.
if Lovey's that way. Lovey's going to call plays defensively.
The Minnesota.
O'Connell.
Yeah. I think that they know the blueprint. And I think that from an ego standpoint, you want to be the guy that shows not only do I know what plays work, I want to be a guy that can orchestrate an offense by calling plays on a play-by-play basis. I think it's something that you're going to see more and more come back, but I think you have to have the right head coach. And you have to have the right head coach, not only from the standpoint of knowing the side of the football that you're coaching, but also realizing how to balance it with all of the decisions you have to make as the head coach, both in-game and during the week.
I want to ask you on the other side, because do you have to have one? Do you have to have either A, a great head coach, or B, a great quarterback? And because Caserio has shown us he doesn't prioritize head coach, does that show you that the Texans need a great QB?